Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report. The City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and municipal news, and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. Your hosts, Emily Springstroh of Oshkosh Media and City Manager Mark Roloff.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for your City Manager's Report right here on GovTV. This is your source for all the latest and greatest news and updates that are happening right here in the city of Oshkosh, as well as a preview of the upcoming Common Council meeting agenda highlights. I'm your host, Emily Springstroh, joined as always by our City Manager, Mark Roloff. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Roloff.
Oh, great to be here, Emily.
It's great to have you. We're going to go ahead and dive into the hot topics for the first half of today's program. Then we'll take a little break and we'll return with a review of the Common Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, April 9th, 2019. So, Mark, the first thing that we want to discuss here, we are hot off of an election here in Oshkosh. Big local election here with mayor and some council seats up for election. So kind of go over what's changing and who the new faces are going to be.
Yeah, well, there'll be some new faces, but a lot of familiar faces. Our Deputy Mayor Lori Palmieri has been elected mayor, and so she'll be taking over on April 16th. And then three council members have been elected or reelected. Deb Allison Osby, current council member, Bob Peschel, who's a former council member, so he was with us from 2009 to 2013, so he'll be rejoining the council, and then Councilmember Jay Krause will continue on the council as well.
Definitely. And so what's the next step here in the process? We know who the people are that were the winners in the election, but now what's going to happen next?
Well, because Deputy Mayor Palmieri was already on the council, there's now a vacancy. So the council has adopted an ordinance that lays out the procedures for doing that, and I just had an opportunity to talk to the city clerk about what the status of that is, and now that the election has been certified, she'll be able to begin the process to advertise. And it's a 30-day process, and that'll start next Monday, April 8th. That's when we'll be able to open up that process. And so the deadline will probably be around May 9th. And then at I believe the May 14th meeting, the idea will be that council will interview all the candidates who have submitted applications. And essentially they come to the council meeting, they make a brief presentation, and the council, after hearing the presentations, will vote and select their seventh and final colleague.
Excellent. So and it's a nice little reminder of how this all works here in the local government realm. And we're looking forward to hearing those presentations take place at the next council meeting as well.
Yeah, it'll be, I'm guessing it'll be about May 14th. So we got a little time because we do want to give a 30-day period for people to become aware that the seat's available and to find out what the position's about. And it's a little different because you're not running for the office, you're applying for the office, and the council members may be sought out for questions and things like that. So that's the step that process we normally follow. And typically new mayors typically come from within the ranks of the existing council, so it's not uncommon for this type of vacancy to occur, and that's so all we had to do was dust off the old policy and bring it forward, and so we'll be doing that over the next month.
Excellent. Exciting time here in Oshkosh. Moving down our list of updates we want to give a reminder that the utility billing cycle is going to be switching to monthly in May. And so the transition is going to be taking place this month. And we just want to make sure that all of our customers are aware of that they're going to be getting a bill that might look a little different in April.
Well, it depends. The transition bill is going to be done in April. So depending on when you last received your bill, you're either going to get a 1-month bill, a 2-month bill, or a 3-month bill this April. For example, if you paid your utility bill last month in March, you'll get a 1-month bill. You'll get your first monthly bill. Mm-hmm. Regardless, all monthly billing will begin in May for everybody. So that's the process pretty much in short. So, and of course, if you have any questions or anything, give utility billing a call. We expect that when people see these bills and they're used to getting it quarterly and they haven't gotten this message, they'll be calling us. So we're expecting the calls, and we understand that. But if you could help, the studio audience, if you could help pass the word to everybody to let them know when you hear something about that this is what it's about. It's about transitioning the monthly bills, and we believe it'll be more convenient for people who are on fixed budgets, because this will spread out their payments and make it a little easier to manage their budgets, just like other utility type of bills.
Exactly, yes. And there will be on the city website a frequently asked questions document available. So hopefully we'll be able to answer any of the questions that you might have. But of course, give the utility accounting department or division a call if you've got any additional questions, and we're happy to respond to any of those. So we thank you for everybody for their understanding and their cooperation during this transition. But come May, it'll all be back to normal monthly billing. Great.
Exactly.
Yes. Something that we really want to promote today on City Manager's Report is National Library Week, and that's next week. It's going to be taking place April 7th through the 13th, and it has been hugely successful the last few years, Mark.
Well, there's some great activities at the library, but the fun part that the library has partnered with tons of local businesses, lots of deals at participating local businesses. And when you do participate at one of those local businesses, you'll get a little slip of paper that you can go to the library and turn it in and be eligible for some really cool prizes.
Some great prizes, yeah. A few different themed baskets. I think there's a Kindle Fire up for grabs as well.
I think there's an iPad.
iPad, yeah. And so that's all on, there's a ton of information on National Library Week. It's all on the public library's website, including a full list of all the businesses, which it's a long list of all the businesses that are participating and offering some great deals ranging from a percentage off or a buy one, get one, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole purpose, everybody, is for you to go to the library and see I think we have one of the best libraries in the state. Absolutely. And it's great services. It's not just for books anymore.
Exactly.
The wonderful information, the research skills that our librarians have, and just a place to congregate, meet people, great programs at the library. So encourage people to try out the library. And if you go and get a discount on a meal and you get your slip, bring it down to the library, turn it in, and then take an opportunity. Yeah, check it out. Yeah. Exactly.
Definitely. So we encourage everyone to check out the public library during Oshkosh Public Library Week, as National Library Week, as well as throughout the rest of the year. So more information on the website if you're looking for that. Moving down our list, Mark, we want to promote the citizen survey that is still live. It went live right around March, end of March, I believe, and it's just located right on Pulco this year. So we're trying to collect feedback on different city services and things, and it's a partnership through the university.
It's a wonderful partnership with the university, and they give us this feedback, and we share it with council to make decisions on budgeting. And it's all available on the Pulco app now. Mm-hmm. We're not mailing out the survey anymore. We just want people to fill it out this way. It's a lot more truncated than it was in the past, so it's a lot quicker, easier to fill out.
It'll take 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it's only going to be it's only one phase. We send you out. We send you all the surveys. You click right there. It's very simple to use, and I encourage people to use it. And like you said, it's open until April 15th yet.
Yes, so the link should be posted on the city website. Otherwise, if you already are a user of Pulco, you should have gotten an email notifying you that has been posted. So we really encourage everybody to take part in the citizen survey, give their input, and help the city to set priorities for the future.
Right, and if you're not already a subscriber to Pulco, be sure to sign up on our website as well, because then you can participate in all the different surveys, not just the annual citizen survey.
Exactly. A lot of great opportunities for public input on Pulco, so definitely encourage people to get involved on there. Moving down our list, we want to talk about Menominee Park Zoo, and it is opening on May 4th. And so this is an exciting time. That means spring is finally here, and May 4th is the big day for the zoo.
It sure is, and we're so excited about whenever the zoo opens. It's not exactly summer yet, but it kind of tells you it's coming.
Yes.
And the zoo will be open daily from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And of course, the admission continues to be free thanks to the generosity of the Tom and Penny Herrenberg Fund at the Community Foundation.
And it's not very often you get to visit a zoo for free, and I think that's something that's really special about Oshkosh. It's a wonderful zoo. and just a great opportunity for the community.
Yeah, just a lot of local type of animals that people can really see. Like wolves out. They're there, and of course the little happy burros that are there as well. But a lot of activities. A great place to bring the family, bring young children, and enjoy and learn about nature and whatnot. The otter exhibit is probably my favorite exhibit of all.
My favorite too, definitely. And so there's always a lot of fun activities and events going on at the zoo and at Menominee Park. So just check out the park's Facebook page or website. They're always posting that, and it seems like there's something new every week that you can do out there event-wise and activities. So we encourage you to check that out and come out to the Menominee Park Zoo on May 4th. And then, of course, we want to talk about Unity and Community. It is rapidly approaching, and we've been promoting it for a few months now, and it's one of the biggest diversity events here in Oshkosh, and so we're really excited about it.
Real excited. Just to remind everybody, it's going to be on Saturday, April 13th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's pretty, the time is pretty similar. The location is going to be at the Oshkosh Convention Center. We want to make sure that we're a little weatherproof for this event.
This is right.
Because you never know in April what we can get. But it'll be inside, but it'll still be just all the same fun. The diversity of cultures that are there is incredible.
It's amazing.
And also amazing is the food. They just have some really cool dishes from all over the world, literally.
It's amazing, and it's all a great opportunity to sample and find out what the different ethnic foods are that are offered at the event.
And there's also a lot of information, just exchanging information about how cultures work and how people live their lives throughout the world. So, we've got a strong refugee community here in Oshkosh, and you're able to learn about your new neighbors that maybe you didn't know much about. And so those opportunities and the entertainment.
The entertainment is so good.
And they've got little kids that do their local custom dances, and it's just it is a fun community event. And then of course you just see kids running around and just having fun. So
it's a blast. Yeah. So once again, April 13th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We encourage you to get out to the Oshkosh Convention Center anytime between those hours and just check out the Unity and Community Day. It's just really wonderful. More information on Facebook or on Instagram, I believe they have, and maybe even a Twitter account. So just go ahead and search them, and their pages will come up about the Unity and Community. So with that, it's come to that part of the show where viewers have the opportunity to ask their city manager anything they want about what's going on here in Oshkosh. So let's go ahead and see what the question mark segment is this week. All right, Mark, so we've got what is the consent agenda portion on the Common Council agendas? What does consent agenda mean? So this is another, a little bit of an educational question about council meetings in general. Yeah,
somebody's been on a roll asking us questions about the agenda itself, which is really cool because I think sometimes we take for granted this type of information. So I'm happy to share this information. The consent agenda it's very commonly used by a lot of communities. We scroll our consent agenda just before the meeting starts. And the idea there is because we don't read these items off, so it just gives you a flavor of what these items are. But essentially, consent agenda items are those items of a routine nature, generally administrative, but require council approval. And they're voted on the council in a single roll call vote. So there could be literally dozens of items on the consent agenda. In this case, staff recommends approval of all items on the consent agenda. And at the same time, any member of the public or the council may request that an item be removed from the consent agenda for a separate discussion. If somebody maybe does have a disagreement with it, or in some cases they just have a question, they just want to ask a simple question. So you can remove an item from the consent agenda, but the idea is to make the meeting flow a little more efficiently, because when you get all these routine items done, then you can focus your time on items that are much more substantive. I think we generally in this show try to talk about some of those more substantive issues. We give a little flavor of things that are on consent because while they may be routine, they're good in general information.
They're worth knowing, yeah.
Yeah, worth knowing about. But do we need to spend a lot of time at the council meeting itself? So our meetings have gotten shorter over the last 10 years since I've been here, and that's because I think in part because we use the consent agenda to get those things down into a more easily reviewable order, and then we can focus on the real issues that the public may want to talk about, and we get the routine stuff out of the way so the public can give us comments on these more substantive things.
Kind of streamlining the meeting a little bit.
Oh, absolutely, and I think it just gives the public an opportunity to provide input on those real, meaty issues.
Definitely. Well, that was a great question, and we do like the general council agenda, educational type of questions.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love doing the education part. So,
Yeah.
and it's great to hear people who, things that lingo that we use all the time, and we don't
Exactly.
necessarily understand that somebody else may not understand it. So, thank you for doing that.
Yes, that question was emailed to us, but you can send it to us on Facebook, send a question on Twitter, or of course, like I said, email at @ci.oshkosh.wi.us, and Mark will answer it on the next episode of City Manager's Report. So send in your questions for question Mark. We're going to take a quick break here on CMR. When we return, we're going to dive into the Common Council meeting agenda highlights for Tuesday, April 9th, 2019. We'll be right back.
It is sad but true that for years, some people have been using storm drains to dispose of their wastes. Sanitary sewers take waste from bathrooms and kitchens and clean them up. But storm sewers do not treat or clean up anything passing through them. Everything that enters a storm drainage system is eventually discharged into a stream, river, lake, or bay in exactly the same form as it entered. One of the responsibilities of municipalities that operate storm sewer systems is to prevent what the EPA calls illicit discharges. Illicit discharges are any discharges of non-stormwater into or through the storm sewer. When illicit discharges enter surface waters, they can kill wildlife. They can suffocate plants and fish, destroy breeding and nesting areas. Never pour or dump anything down any storm drain.
Welcome back to City Manager's Report. Thanks again for joining us. Now we're going to take a look at the Common Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, April 9th, 2019, and kind of go through some of the highlights. So, Mark, the first thing that we want to discuss here is a presentation at the very beginning of the meeting, and that is by GoHNI, otherwise known as Greater Oshkosh Healthy Neighborhoods Incorporated Initiative?
Incorporated.
I
Very
can never
good,
remember. So GoHNI is giving their annual presentation at this meeting.
Well, GoHNI, Healthy Neighborhoods Incorporated, they really are the group that works closely with our neighborhood associations to help improve the different neighborhoods throughout the city. GoHNI also does a lot of work to identify and rehabilitate some homes as well, working in partnership with so many other groups like Habitat for Humanity and groups like that. They're required annually, because they do get some funding from the city, required to make an annual report. So this is their annual report to fill us in on what activities they've been up to in the past year and what things they want to go towards. So, we're up to 16 neighborhood associations now. So they're supporting an increasing number of neighborhood associations over time. So we really appreciate the work they do to really engage our neighborhoods and our residents to give us input on how to make their neighborhoods a better place to live.
It's definitely an important job, and we do look forward to this presentation, like you said, to find out all the work that's been going on and future plans probably as well.
Yeah, so our GoHNI Executive Director Pam Reuter will be there to just give us an annual update and answer questions, because there's always questions. I mean, this is a very challenging work that they have, and so it's important that they give us an update.
Wonderful. Moving down, we've got a public hearing that we want to discuss here, and that's the approved official mapping for a 30-foot wide river walk along the north shore of the Fox River at 1005 High Avenue. So tell us a little bit about what this section is going to look like.
Well, this property is owned actually by Axletech International, but it's between where the Axletech building is right there on High Avenue and Spellman's Marina, which is right on the river at the end of New York Avenue. The trail actually goes through the heart of this forested area, and I know a lot of people talk about how spooky it is. Eventually, we would like it to continue along the river as shown here in red, and Axletech can eventually sell this property and develop it, and having a trail go right through the middle of the property isn't going to make it very marketable. So the idea is to continue the Riverwalk and then just have it cut back to where the state Waiawash Trail is, and then it goes just to the east of Spellman's and continues its way north. So officially mapping just puts everybody on notice as that area gets developed that the city will plan to work a trail through the area. And then as the area is developed in actuality, then we'll work on developing an actual trail there.
Wonderful. Well, it looks like it'll be a great development, and it's a great opportunity to see future plans for that section of the Riverwalk. Moving down under consent agenda, we've got a few items that we want to discuss, one being the purchase to LDV Custom Specialty Vehicles, and this is for a crime scene unit for the police department, $132,000. Give us a little bit of an overview of what this unit is going to look like, this vehicle.
Well, first thing people have to envision is, think of CSI Miami or something like that. Crime scene investigators. Our detective bureau essentially has an old ambulance unit that they use as essentially a mobile laboratory. So all that stuff you see on CSI, they have to do a lot of processing of evidence right there on site whenever there's a crime. So the idea behind this is we need to update this vehicle. There are always standards that are increasing for evidence collection and protection. And so this vehicle will enable our crime scene unit, our crime scene team, to go to a site, process as much evidence as possible on the site so that they can get it back to the police department. And it facilitates investigations. It catches the bad guys a lot quicker when you have this stuff. Not as dramatic as you see on CSI Miami, but it's still very important for our people to have those capabilities. And this crime scene unit gives us that.
Hugely important tool, so we're glad to see it on the agenda and looking forward to that. Continuing on under consent agenda, Mark, we've got somewhat an annual item, you could say, on this agenda, and that is for concrete sidewalk rehabilitation and new sidewalks. And this is in which area this year that we're focusing on?
Yeah, well, the area in question this year is what I'll call the near north side. It's immediately north of the Fox River, and it's pretty much east of Mount Vernon and then south of Irving, and it goes down to the river and east over to Lake Winnebago. So that's generally the area. That area has probably seen some of their sidewalks marked with sidewalks that are questionable in terms of displacement, and if there's too much displacement, that can create a hazard. Yep. So if later field operations reviews show that there's a problem there, then we will replace that sidewalk. So the painting is to remind people, and then we'll be sending out notices fairly soon once now that we've awarded the bid.
Yes, it's an important part of what happens here in the city of Oshkosh, and every year it's a different area that we're focusing on. So thanks for the update on that, Mark. Moving down, we've got the approval of a special event. This is for the Center of Youth Evangelism, and this is to hold the Pathfinders event. Every year, or every 5 years, I believe, the Pathfinders come to Oshkosh. And this is for the utilization of William A. Stagger Park boat launch, and this is for a water ski show coming up on August 12th to the 18th. So kind of give us a little overview of what we're looking at here with this item.
Well, the Pathfinders group is a group of that really brings at-risk kids together to kind of join in, in harmony and learn to do some good for our community. So we get the Pathfinder group every 5 years, and they try to do some type of community event so that people can enjoy it, and sort of thanks back to the community for hosting them. Mm-hmm. In the past, they've done parades, but this year they've decided to go with a water ski show, which we think is kind of cool. So, mark your calendars. The event's going to be between August 12th and 18th. And once that's done, I believe that Thursday, August 15th, from 2 to 4 in the afternoon, we're going to have a water ski show along the Fox River right here in the heart of Oshkosh. So it'll be kind of cool, and we appreciate their sort of paying us back for their hospitality.
It's very fun. And this item is related to another item on the agenda regarding No Wake. And so the later on, under new ordinances, they're going to just give a temporary no-wake zone to the area, of course, so that they can have this water ski show. So
Absolutely. It'll be a lot of fun.
really exciting, yes. So once again, August 12th through the 18th. Be on the lookout for more information on that. Under new ordinances, we've got the establishing regulations for the use of electronic smoking devices. Now, this has been talked about a few meetings back, and this is coming back to the agenda here. Give us a little overview of that.
A lot of communities are doing this because of the dangers of e-cigarettes, which are essentially nicotine dispensers to people. And adults have the right to do dumb things, and that's Mark talking. But we have to protect our youth. And our police department's been working very closely with the school district, and the school district has rules against having the e-cigarettes in their possession. I mean, it's against the law for them to have them anyway, but it's against federal law. There's no local ordinance on that. And so we're kind of catching up to the new technology of these e-cigarettes. And if an officer goes in right now, they don't have any jurisdiction. So this will give us the ability to work in partnership with the school district that when a child is in possession, we can cite them. And the idea is to bring it to the parents' attention that this is a serious matter and there's going to be consequences for it. And besides the fact that it's a dumb idea to be doing this anyway, it's just a way to add an enforcement element to this so that the kids become aware that this is a problem that they need to fix.
Definitely. So we're happy to see this back on the agenda here and just kind of educating people on what this regulation is going to be.
Yeah, and a lot of other communities are doing this. Council members have become aware of this. They asked the police chief to do it, and he was like, I am absolutely in support of this. And
Sure.
But we want to make sure we have the law done right and make sure there's the little nuances to make sure that we're okay with it. But we're in good shape and we're in good legal standing to do this.
Excellent. Moving down to new resolutions, Mark, we want to discuss the requesting that the Wisconsin State Legislature reaffirm its commitment to reimburse local governments in its entirety for personal property exemptions for machinery. Long title, short. What exactly does this mean?
Well, we had a discussion with our state legislature because they were under the impression that a law that they adopted was making cities whole on this machinery, but the outgoing Attorney General Brad Schimmel had issued an opinion that said the machinery exemption that the legislature gave was much broader than what they were reimbursing cities for. So on top of making us whole on the first year, the second year, and subsequent years, it's like $82,000, and that's just for 1 year alone. And other businesses are becoming aware of this exemption. The exemption's legal, there's no problem with it, but it's really creating a way for us to get made whole. And I think the legislators are becoming aware that they weren't making us as whole as they thought they were. Right. So we're just making a request for them to fix this problem.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for the recap on that. Then the last item that we want to just discuss here, Mark, is under City Manager announcements and statements, and that is the implementation of police staffing study recommendations. Chief Smith is going to be there to present what the recommendations are. So kind of go over that with us.
Well, the recommendations came from a Matrix consulting firm that did a police staffing study for us. And the council had provided $117,000 in funding for 2019. So now that the report's out there and the recommendations are there were three specific positions, a sergeant, a record supervisor, and a patrol officer that they recommended for immediately. Mm-hmm. And that $117,000 doesn't go very far. So we took a look at it, and we believe we can fund all of these positions if we delay implementation until August. So Chief Smith's going to be reporting on how we're planning to implement and spend the $117,000 that the council has already approved for this. So it's really reporting back to council that we're following through on their endorsement of this staffing study.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like some great recommendations, and we look forward to hearing more about that at the council meeting. So with that, we're just about out of time here on City Manager's Report. So, Mark, I'd like to thank you for joining us today.
Always a pleasure.
Once again, the Common Council meeting is this Tuesday, April 9th at 6 p.m. You can watch it live on GovTV and on our website, oshkoshmedia.org, or you can listen to it on 101.9 Oshkosh FM, which is also online and on the TuneIn Radio app for mobile devices. Make sure to like Oshkosh Media on Facebook or follow us on Twitter for all of your community and government programming and updates, or check out our YouTube channel for government meeting replays and past episodes of your favorite programs. And don't forget, if you have a question for City Manager Mark Roloff, send it to us on Twitter, post it on our Facebook page, or go ahead and email it to us, and he'll answer it on the next episode of City Manager's Report. So thanks again for joining us here on CMR, and we'll see you next time.